Okay, so you've been sending over some really interesting stuff about free ways to get your video and your music out there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are looking for this information.
Absolutely.
And the sources that you sent are really comprehensive.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a deep dive into these resources.
Awesome.
And give you the lowdown on the free options that are available for both video and music distribution.
Yeah, this is great because I think a lot of people, they're kind of aware of like one or two of the big names, but they don't really know what else is out there and what the like pros and cons of each are.
Right, and how they might fit into, different strategies. So, from what you've been looking at, it seems like you're interested in understanding what these free platforms can do for you.
Exactly. And how to kind of make the most of them, because it can be a little overwhelming if you don't really know where to start. So yeah, let's break it down.
Okay. So to kind of lay the groundwork here, you sent over two main types of sources. One that analyzes free video distribution platforms.
Right.
And the other breaks down free music streaming platforms specifically for musicians.
Yep. Exactly.
So our mission today is really, extract the most important information from these sources, help you make some sense of it all.
Yeah.
And ultimately help you make an informed decision about which platform or platforms might be right for you.
Exactly.
Okay. So why don't we start with the video stuff first?
Sure.
So the first platform that our source mentions is YouTube.
Right.
And I think everyone's heard of YouTube.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's still worth, talking about it in detail.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it is, such a dominant force in this space.
It's huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really jumps out is just the sheer scale of YouTube.
Yeah, it's massive.
The source mentions that they have over 2.5 billion users.
Yeah, that's like a third of the planet.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's obviously, a huge potential audience.
Right.
And that's got to be appealing to anyone who's looking to, get their video content out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get your stuff seen, YouTube is the place to be, just because of that potential reach.
Right, and not only that, but YouTube also offers some pretty good monetization options.
Yeah.
Through ads, channel memberships, sponsorships.
Yeah, all of that.
So there's definitely the potential to actually earn money.
Yeah, you can make a living off of YouTube if you do it right.
Right, and the source also talks about the power of SEO.
Oh yeah.
Search engine optimization.
Right.
And how that plays into YouTube's success.
Yeah, because YouTube is owned by Google.
Right.
So they have a really strong connection there. And that means that if you optimize your videos well, they're more likely to show up in Google search results.
Exactly.
Which is a huge deal for getting discovered.
And another thing that I thought was interesting is that YouTube supports high-resolution content.
Yeah.
All the way up to 8K and HDR.
Which is crazy. I mean, not a lot of people have 8K screens yet.
Right.
But it's good to know that YouTube is future-proof in that sense.
Right.
Like your content isn't going to be outdated anytime soon.
Right.
Because you can upload it in the highest quality possible.
Exactly.
Which is great.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about YouTube.
Yeah.
But there are some downsides as well.
Of course.
One thing that the source mentions is that YouTube's content policies can be quite strict.
Yeah, they're pretty notorious for that.
Right, and you can get copyright strikes, or even have your videos demonetized.
Yep.
If you're not careful.
Yeah, you got to be really careful about what you upload.
Right.
Make sure that you have the rights to everything.
Right. Yeah.
Or you're using royalty-free music and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because they will crack down on you.
Right, and another thing that's worth mentioning is that a lot of people rely on YouTube's ad revenue to make money.
Right.
But that can be a bit of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, because you're kind of at the mercy of the algorithm and the advertisers.
Right.
So your revenue can fluctuate a lot.
Yeah, and it can take a while to build up a large enough audience to really start generating significant income from ads.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, YouTube is a great platform.
It is.
It has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
But it's not without its challenges.
For sure.
Okay, so moving on to the next platform that our source mentions, Vimeo.
Okay. Yeah, Vimeo.
Now, Vimeo kind of has a different vibe than YouTube.
It does, yeah.
It's a little bit more niche, and it seems to be more geared towards, professional and artistic content.
Yeah, it's definitely more of like a curated platform where the focus is on quality over quantity.
Exactly.
So you're not going to see as much like random stuff on Vimeo as you would on YouTube.
Right.
But the stuff that is on there is generally pretty high quality.
Right. And one of the things that Vimeo is really known for is its high quality streaming.
Yeah.
And the fact that there are no ads.
Right.
So it's a really clean viewing experience.
Yeah, which is great for filmmakers and other creators who really want their work to be presented in the best possible light.
Exactly.
Without any distractions.
Right.
And Vimeo also offers a paid option called Vimeo On Demand.
Right.
Which allows you to sell or rent your content directly to viewers.
Right. So that's a nice option for people who are looking to, monetize their content in a different way than just relying on ads. And another thing that the source mentions is that Vimeo has better privacy controls than YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can be more selective about who can see your videos.
Right. Which can be important for certain types of content.
Right.
Like if you're working on something that's not quite ready for the public yet.
Right.
Or if you're just sharing it with a select group of people.
Exactly.
You have more control over that on Vimeo.
So yeah, I mean, Vimeo definitely has its advantages.
Yeah.
But there are some downsides as well.
Of course.
One thing that's worth noting is that the free plan is quite limited.
Yeah. You only get 500 megabytes of upload per week.
Right.
And a total of 5 gigabytes of storage.
Which isn't a lot.
No, especially for video.
Right.
Video files can be pretty big.
Right. So if you're planning on uploading a lot of content, you're going to have to upgrade to a paid plan.
Yeah.
And another thing is that, unlike YouTube, Vimeo doesn't have a built-in ad revenue system on the free tier. So you're not going to be able to make money from ads on Vimeo unless you upgrade to a paid plan.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, Vimeo is a great platform.
It is.
But it's really best suited for, people who are looking for high-quality ad-free hosting and who don't mind the limited storage space. And who are okay with not making money from ads.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next platform that our source mentions, this is a little bit different.
Okay.
It's Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
And I guess they're calling this Meta Video now.
Yeah, since Facebook changed their name to Meta, they're trying to kind of unify all of their video platforms under that one umbrella.
Okay, so obviously, Facebook and Instagram are huge social media platforms.
Yeah, they're massive.
And they have billions of users.
Yeah, billions with a B.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of people.
So one of the things that's appealing about using Meta Video is that you already have this built-in audience. You don't have to start from scratch. Right.
You're already connected to all of these people through your Facebook and Instagram accounts. So it's a lot easier to get your videos seen.
Right. And the social sharing features on these platforms are also really powerful.
Yeah.
It's easy to share your videos with your friends and followers.
Right.
And that can really help to spread your content.
Yeah, it can go viral pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you get lucky.
Right. And another thing that's nice about Meta Video is that they support a range of video formats.
Yeah.
From short reels on Instagram to longer form content on Facebook Watch.
Right.
So you have some flexibility in terms of the type of content that you can create.
Exactly.
And another thing that the source mentions is that Facebook offers a monetization program called Facebook Ad Breaks.
Right.
So if you meet certain eligibility criteria, you can actually earn money from ads on your videos.
Yeah, which is great because you're already putting in the work to cuddle the content.
Right.
So why not get paid for it?
Exactly.
If you can.
Right.
But yeah, you do have to meet certain requirements.
Right.
Like you have to have a certain number of followers and your videos have to be getting a certain amount of views. So it's not easy to get into the program.
So yeah, I mean, Meta Video is definitely a powerful option.
It is.
Especially if you're looking to, leverage social media to get your content seen. But there are some things to be aware of.
Of course.
One thing that this source mentions is that, the algorithms on these platforms can change frequently.
Oh, yeah.
And that can have a big impact on how many people actually see your videos.
Yeah, you can be killing it one day.
Right.
And then the next day, your views just plummet.
Right.
Because the algorithm changed.
Right.
And there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah. Right. And another thing that's worth mentioning is that, Facebook and Instagram aren't really designed for long-term archives.
Right.
So if you're planning on, creating a lot of video content,
mm-hmm.
and you want to make sure that it's going to be accessible for years to come,
yeah,
you might want to consider using a different platform.
Yeah, like Vimeo or YouTube are probably better options for that because they're more focused on long-term storage and preservation of content.
Okay, so the next platform that our source mentions is TikTok.
Oh, TikTok.
Now, TikTok is, a bit of a different beast.
It is, yeah.
It's really all about short-form video content.
Yeah, super short.
Right, and it's become incredibly popular.
Huge, yeah.
Especially with younger audiences.
Right.
So, one of the things that's appealing about TikTok is that it has the potential for organic reach.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a huge following.
Right.
Your videos can still go viral.
Yeah, because the algorithm is really good at showing people content that they're interested in.
Right.
Even if they don't follow the creator.
Exactly.
So you can get your stuff seen by a lot of people.
Right. And TikTok also offers a monetization program called the TikTok Creator Fund.
Right.
So if you meet certain eligibility criteria, you can actually earn money from your videos.
Yeah. Which is cool because, TikTok is all about entertainment.
Right.
So it's nice that you can actually get paid for making people laugh or whatever.
Exactly.
But again, you do have to meet certain requirements to get into the program.
Right.
Like you have to have a certain number of followers and your videos have to be getting a certain amount of views.
Right. And another thing that's nice about TikTok is that they've recently extended the maximum video length.
Oh, yeah.
For 3 minutes.
Right.
So that gives you a little bit more creative freedom.
Yeah, you can do a little bit more with that than you could before.
Right.
When it was just like 15 seconds or whatever.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing.
So yeah, TikTok is a great platform.
It is.
Especially if you're looking to, create short form video content. And you're hoping to go viral.
Right.
But there are some things to keep in mind.
Of course.
One thing that the source mentions is that TikTok is not really suited for full-length films or in-depth documentaries.
Yeah, if you're trying to do something like that, TikTok is not the place.
Right.
You got to go somewhere else.
Right.
Like YouTube or Vimeo.
Exactly.
And another thing is that, the discovery algorithm on TikTok is really powerful.
Right.
But it's really only powerful within the app itself.
Right.
Like you're not going to get a lot of external traffic from TikTok.
So if you're hoping to drive traffic to your website or to other social media platforms, TikTok is probably not the best option.
Yeah, it's really just about getting views within TikTok and building an audience there.
Okay, so the last platform that our source mentions for video distribution is Rumble.
Rumble.
Now, Rumble is, kind of the new kid on the block.
Yeah, it's not as well known as some of the other platforms.
Right, but it's gaining popularity. And it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. For sure.
So one of the things that's interesting about Rumble is that they offer multiple monetization models.
Yeah.
Beyond just traditional advertising.
Right.
So they have options for licensing your content, setting up subscriptions.
Right.
And even selling merchandise.
Yeah, which is cool because it gives creators more ways to make money.
Exactly.
And not just rely on ads.
Right. And another thing that's appealing about Rumble is that they have a reputation for being less strict about content moderation.
Right.
Than some of the other platforms.
Yeah, they're a little bit more lenient.
Right. So if you're worried about getting your videos taken down or demonetized, Rumble might be a good option.
Yeah, especially if you're creating content that's a little bit edgy.
Right.
Or controversial.
And another thing that's nice about Rumble is that they offer content syndication.
Right.
Which basically means that you can automatically share your videos on other platforms.
Yep.
So you can reach a wider audience.
Yeah, which is great because you're not limited to just Rumble's audience.
Exactly.
You can get your stuff seen on other websites and then social media platforms as well.
Right.
Which is awesome.
So yeah, I mean, Rumble is a great platform.
It is.
It has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
But there's some downsides as well.
Of course.
One thing is that the audience size on Rumble is still relatively small.
Yeah, it's not as big as YouTube or Facebook
or
even Vimeo.
Right. So you're not going to reach as many people on Rumble as you would on some of the other platforms.
But it's growing.
Right.
So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Right. And the other thing is that Rumble doesn't have the same level of mainstream recognition as some of the other platforms.
It's not as well known.
Right.
So it might be a little bit harder to get people to watch your videos on Rumble because they're not as familiar with the platform. Okay,
so that's a quick overview of the free video distribution platforms
that
our source mentions. So just to recap, we have YouTube, which is the biggest platform. And it has the most potential for reach and ad revenue. We have Vimeo, which is known for its high-quality streaming and its lack of ads. We have Meta Video, which allows you to leverage the power of social media. We have TikTok, which is all about short-form video content and going viral. And then we have Rumble, which is kind of the new kid on the block. But it has some interesting features, like multiple monetization models and less strict content moderation. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to choose from.
There is,
and it really comes down to what your goals are.
Exactly.
And what type of content you're creating.
Okay,
so now let's move on to music.
Okay, cool.
You also sent over some great resources on free music distribution platforms. And I think this is a topic that's really relevant to a lot of musicians.
Absolutely.
Especially independent musicians.
Yeah, especially those who are just starting out and don't have a lot of money to spend.
Exactly.
These free platforms can be a great way to get your music out there.
Right. And the source that you sent breaks down a number of different platforms. So we're going to go through each one in detail.
Cool.
And talk about the pros and cons.
Okay,
so the first platform that our source mentions is SoundCloud.
SoundCloud,
Now, SoundCloud has been around for a while.
It has,
And it's become a really popular platform for independent musicians.
Yeah, it's kind of like the YouTube of music. In a way.
Exactly.
It's a place where you can upload your music for free. And share it with the world.
And one of the things that's really appealing about SoundCloud is that it has a really strong social community. There's a lot of interaction between artists and fans.
You can like and comment on tracks, repost them.
And you can follow other artists and kind of build up a network.
Yeah, it's a great way to connect with other musicians, and fans. And kind of build a community around your music.
And another thing that's nice about SoundCloud is that they offer a monetization program called SoundCloud Premier. So if you meet certain eligibility criteria, you can actually earn money from your music.
Yeah, which is great because, a lot of musicians are struggling to make ends meet. So any extra income is welcome.
Exactly.
But yeah, you do have to meet certain requirements to get into the program. Like you have to have a certain number of followers. And your tracks have to be getting a certain amount of plays.
And another thing that's nice about SoundCloud is that they allow you to sell your music directly to fans. Through SoundCloud Go.
Yeah, which is cool. Because, you get to keep a larger percentage of the revenue than you would if you were selling your music through like iTunes or Spotify.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, SoundCloud is a great platform.
It is,
it has a lot to offer. But there are some downsides as well.
Of course.
One thing that the source mentions is that the free tier is quite limited.
Yeah, you only get 3 hours of upload time. Which isn't a lot.
Especially if you're a prolific musician.
Yeah, if you're releasing like an album a month. 3 hours is not going to cut it.
Exactly.
You're going to have to upgrade to a paid plan.
And another thing is that, even if you do get into the SoundCloud Premier program, the payouts can be quite low.
Yeah, you're not going to get rich off of SoundCloud. But, it's still some extra income. And it's a good way to get your music out there.
Exactly.
And build a following.
Okay, so the next platform that our source mentions is YouTube.
YouTube.
Now, this might seem a little bit strange.
Yeah, because YouTube is a video platform.
Right.
Not a music platform.
Right, but YouTube is actually a really popular platform for music distribution.
It is, yeah.
And there are a couple of reasons for this.
Mm-hmm.
One is that, a lot of people use YouTube to listen to music.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I listen to music on YouTube all the time.
Exactly.
It's just easy. You just go to YouTube and type in the song that you want to listen to.
Right.
And it's there.
And another reason is that YouTube's a great platform for sharing music videos.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a musician and you have a music video,
right,
YouTube is the place to put it.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, YouTube is a really versatile platform.
Yeah, it's not just for video.
Right.
It's for music, too.
Exactly. And one of the things that's nice about YouTube is that they have a really robust content ID system.
Yeah.
Which helps to protect your music from being used without your permission.
Right. Yeah.
So you can be confident that your music is safe on YouTube.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about people stealing your stuff.
Right. And another thing that's nice about YouTube is that they offer a monetization program through the YouTube Partner Program.
Right.
So if you meet certain eligibility criteria, you can actually earn money from your music.
Yeah. Which is great because as a musician, it's hard to make money.
Right.
So any extra income is welcome.
Exactly.
But yeah, you do have to meet certain requirements to get into the program. Like you have to have a certain number of subscribers.
Right.
And your videos have to be getting a certain amount of watch time.
Right. So it's not easy to get into the program.
Right.
But it's definitely worth it.
Right, if you can.
So yeah, I mean, YouTube is a great platform.
It is.
For music distribution.
Yeah.
But there are some downsides as well.
Of course.
One thing is that the competition on YouTube is incredibly fierce.
Oh, yeah.
There are millions of musicians who are uploading their music to YouTube.
Yeah.
So it can be really hard to stand out.
Right. You got to be really good.
Right.
And you got to be really lucky.
Right. And another thing is that the revenue from ads on YouTube can be quite low.
Yeah, you're not going to get rich off of YouTube ads. But, it's still some extra income, and it's a good way to get your music out there.
Exactly.
And build a following.
Okay, so the next platform that our source mentions is AudioMac.
AudioMac.
Now, AudioMac is a little bit different.
It is, yeah.
Than some of the other platforms. In that it's really focused on emerging artists.
Right.
And specifically artists in certain genres.
Yeah, like hip hop, EDM, and underground music.
Exactly.
So if you're a musician in one of those genres, AudioMac is definitely worth checking out.
Right. And one of the things that's really appealing about AudioMac is that they offer unlimited free uploads.
Yeah.
So you can upload as much music as you want.
Right.
Without having to worry about any limits.
Which is great because, some of the other platforms, they limit how much you can upload for free. Okay. So AudioMac is really good in that sense.
Right. And another thing that's nice about AudioMac is that they have a really strong focus on trending charts.
Yeah.
So if your music is good and it starts to get some traction, it has the potential to chart.
Yeah.
And that can really help to expose your music to a wider audience.
Exactly.
And another thing that's really appealing about AudioMac is that they allow artists to keep 100% of the revenue.
Yeah.
That they earn through their program.
Right.
So that's a really big deal.
It is, yeah.
A lot of the other platforms, they take a cut of the revenue.
Yeah.
But AudioMac doesn't.
Nope.
So that's a really big incentive.
It is.
For musicians to use AudioMac.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, AudioMac's a great platform.
It is.
Especially for emerging artists.
Yeah.
But there are some downsides as well.
Of course.
One thing is that AudioMac is not as mainstream as some.